What's up, guys? It's your boy, Talton Roberson, back at it again. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about my favorite repricer for Amazon. And so, if you are in the market for a repricer and you're looking for one of the best repricers on the market, then this video is for you. All right, guys, for those who waited for the intro, we are now about to jump into my favorite repricer. So, my favorite repricer is Profit Protector Pro. And if you look here, guys, Profit Protector Pro is maximizing seller profits. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Now, I will say that I have been through several repricers, and this is the first one that I really like that's pretty hands off. It doesn't require a lot of work, and I can outsource all this work to a virtual assistant as long as they know how to, go through all of the things that I'm about to show you. So this video will actually be helpful for you guys. Not only that, and any of the virtual assistants that I will use in the future. So let's just jump into this, guys. This is Profit Protector Pro. And so most Amazon repricers tank your prices. So that's a common problem that we are seeing now. And so I'm not going to say which repricer it was, but I had a repricer that was about $10 a month or so. Maybe it was a little more. It might have been like $15 a month. But it was an automatic repricer and it's very well known throughout the community. However, it just did not reprice the item the way I wanted. With that being said, I had a lot of items get tanked. Now, my items did sell. They sold super fast. And one of the reasons that was happening was because it was competing my FBA inventory with merchant fulfilled inventory. And so it tanked my prices. And so that is not something I personally like to do. I do not want to compare the FBA prices with the merchant prices because they're two different prices. And a lot of times they really don't correlate as far as sales goes. You can sell FBA items for more than you can merchant, and you can win the buy box more. And so I typically prefer to be FBA with all of my items. So, not trying to get off on a tangent, guys, but let's go back to this. So, what this does is going to increase your profits and speed up your sales. So if you're looking to get a little bit of both, higher profits and faster sales, this is one of the best repricers that I have found. If you know anything that's better, please shout it out. But otherwise, this is the one that I plan on using for the future. I may change, who knows? But for right now, this has been the best repricer that I've came across. And so let's just go over some of the features. So if we click features, we can see we have multiple marketplace repricing, which is really good if you are selling in multiple countries. I only sell in the US, so I'm only repricing in the US. So that doesn't really matter to me too much. But the unique buy box profit climbing technology. Now, this one is by far one of the biggest features for this service. And it says it was made by Amazon sellers for Amazon sellers. So they have the knowledge of the pain that maybe you're going through or I've been through in the past where your stuff either isn't selling, you're not repricing effectively, or the prices are tanking before your items sell. And so we don't want none of that. It has consistent and regular free upgrades. I don't know what this, I guess they basically just upgrade for free. Penny under repricing traps. They don't try to feed into those. And then you also get a full repricing analysis. There's a bunch of stuff in here that you could go over. And then I think they also offer this BuyBot Pro, which is, I believe, is similar to SellerAmp. I haven't really looked into this too much, but I do want to look into this some. Also, they have a free online arbitrage course, and I have not taken this course, so I don't know how good it is. But hey, if you guys want to try it, let me know how it is. Leave a comment if you've ever taken this, and I might dive into it one day when I've got a little time. So let's also talk about the pricing. So you can see here, if you're doing the annual subscription, you're going to get the cheaper price. But if we go to the monthly subscription, it is a little more expensive. And so you can get 1,000 listings. So if you're a brand new seller, you have under 1,000 listings, $34.95 is really not a bad price, guys, especially because this is the only repricer I found that will actually raise the prices auto-magically for you. Yeah, I know, I said auto-magically. But I have more listings than 1,000, so I'm paying this $39.95 a month. Now this is pounds, so British pounds, I believe, converts to about 48 a month, roughly, and so that's what I currently pay. Um, you know, whatever one fits your needs best, obviously choose. But you can see you get 5,000 listings, you get algorithmic AI rules based pricing, custom strategies, up and down repricing, night repricing, auto min and max, automations. The list goes on. This is a great repricer. And so this isn't really what it looks like in the back end. This is just where you would sign up if you want to sign up and log in or whatever. But I am just going to click my little icon I have up here because I'm already logged in, or at least I should be. Oh, I'm not. I always forget what I made my password because my password is set for my VA. So sometimes I forget what I set it to. All right, so now that I'm logged in, we are not going to save that. So now that we are logged in, you can see here, this is my dashboard, and it doesn't really tell you a whole lot, but in the last 30 days, I have generated an additional $459 in profit by selling above the buy box. Now, I don't know if anyone else has a software that's going to tell you how much money you are actually getting from using the software, from profit higher than the buy box price. And that's crazy, guys. And so I really, really like this software. And I've been using it for several months now, and I haven't had a single issue. And it's been really, really great. And so you can see, since I've been using this, I have sold almost $5,000 above the buy box. And I don't think I've been using this for like too long, maybe like 5 or 6 months. But that's just the profit that's above the buy box, which, like I said, is incredible. But essentially, this is what it looks like on the back end. You can pull up an analysis. I don't know what this does, but you can kind of just see, what's at the buy box, what's not, what's at your max, what's at your minimum, what's at the lowest price. And so that kind of gives you an idea of how many items you might want to just look at. Maybe you want to go in and check, hey, we're at the minimum and they're not sold. Maybe I need to be a little more competitive, or hey, these are at the max and they haven't sold. Maybe I need to go in and look at these and make sure they're not too high. And you just never know until you look at them. But you can see I have 71 that needs a min and max. And so I'm just going to go back to my home. I believe that's how you do it. Yeah. And then so from here, I'm just going to filter this. And I like to go to in stock and needs min and max. And so this is just going to be an example of how to actually set your prices when you purchase this. And we can go into more about the repricing strategies and everything in this video, but I just want to give you a quick example of how easy it is to reprice here. So I don't want to do this one. Let me just scroll down past some of these Pokemon. All right, here we go. Something you guys might not be able to steal from me as far as what I'm selling. I do have a couple online arbitrage slash RA items that you probably could go out and buy and make some money, but probably not. You know, it's hit or miss. Some of that inventory is old, and you'd be lucky to find it on shelves or find it, out in the wild. So I'm not too concerned about it. But let's just look at this one. This is a DVD. It's called Topper/Topper Returns Enhanced Double Feature. And you can see my SKU here. This tells you when I listed it, what's the price that I listed it at. Oops. And all that jazz. And it says we have one in stock. So if you are doing wholesale and you've got more items in stock, it'll show you how many you got in stock. It'll show you the buy box price and whatnot. But this is actually going to be repriced a certain way. So what I like to do first is I like to click on it, and I already did that, and it brings it up into a new page. And so now I'm able to look here and see what it's been selling for, or what it's going for now. And so if I scroll down here, we can see that it's not very many sales. Not very many sales at all. Now I did sell one time right here at 1643. We can see that sale happened right there, or at a higher price, but it was at least 1643. And then the buy box came in at 50, which is really high. And someone else got the buy box at 50, which was really high. And now the buy box is at 1801. And so this is my used buy box. And so if you're not familiar with what this graph is, this is Keepa. And so Keepa basically gives us historical data. And so you're able to utilize this to make decisions when it comes to sourcing or pricing or whatever. It can be used for a lot of different things. And so just by looking at this chart right here, we can see in the last 3 months, it's only had one sale. So this is a very slow moving DVD. Probably something I shouldn't have sent in. But if we look at the year, we can see we got more sales. So this is probably just something I thought I could get decent money for. And we can see that most of the sales actually happen between $10 and $16 for the most part, on the low end. And so at 18, that's probably top dollar. And so I'm going to set my maximum for this. It's probably $18.99. It might not sell for much more than that. And then for my minimum, I'm going to set that at, say, $12. Just because I don't really want to lose more than $12. Or I don't want to sell it for less than $12. And I'm sure somebody will buy it for $12. And then I can click Save Changes, and then boom, I've set my minimum and maximum. So it's going to reprice this item in between those prices. It's not going to go higher or lower than those two set prices. And so now we got to pick our repricing strategy. And so right here, you can see we have a bunch of different strategies. And so these were the ones I was talking about going into more detail later in this video. But you can see we have smart strategies for MF or FBA. We have basic strategies. So some of these are just penny under, penny over, match low price, match. So you've got some basic strategies here that you could implement. And then they also have a used goods / books algorithmic strategy. And so this strategy right here just basically takes into account what you have versus what other people have as far as condition goes. If you are selling FBA, it's going to match other people selling FBA in that same condition. And so I always like to do the used goods books algorithmic strategy. And I'm not worried about losing money, because when this sells, it will sell between $12 and $18.99. And so all we have to do is turn that on, and boom, done. that item will be repricing automatically all the time without me having to worry about it. And so that is the power of the AI and algorithmic pricing, or repricing, I should say. And so that's all I'm going to really show you guys. I can do one more. So let me just find one that might be like a little faster moving. Here we go, The Irishman. And so these are some DVDs that got sent in. I don't remember exactly how many got sent in, but they were some old stock and they had already been labeled, but then restock limits hit. And so not all of this inventory is still good. It may have been good 3-6 months ago, but no longer now. But some of it still is. So, it's one of those things. And we can see here that the buy new price is $21.83. And so if we look at this chart, this is a great looking chart, guys. We're seeing plenty of volume. There should be no problem for this DVD to sell. And so what I like to do is I like to hover over this used buy box price. And so at the bottom of this chart, we're seeing $16. And at the top of this chart, we're seeing close to 19. And so that's really how I like to pick my range. So winning used buy boxes, I'm trying to win the used buy box. I hope you guys can see the logic here. And because I've got a history of the used buy box, that just gives me a competitive edge. I know at the high end, we're getting 1855. That's high end value for this DVD used. 1788, 1752. And so, yeah, that just shows you. So 1855 is the highest used buy box that has been on this chart in the last 90 days. So on here, I will set my maximum for 1855 because I probably won't be able to sell it much higher than that, considering it hasn't been higher than that in the last 90 days. And for the minimum here, I like to find my lowest one, which would be this one at 1653. That sounds like a good number to me. And so you can see here we've got about $2 to play with. So it's a good chance that I'm going to make money on this item. There's no doubt about that. And it's probably going to sell between 16 and 1855, more than likely. And we're just going to go with the used books. Good strategy, and go ahead and turn that on. And boom, that item has been repriced. I do not have to touch it again, especially because this one's fast moving and the buy box doesn't fluctuate that much. We didn't see a whole lot of variance in that buy box. So this is a great DVD. If you happen to find it, you should flip it. All right. So now that we've repriced two of my items, let's just scroll right on up. Let's go to strategies. That way we can talk about some of the strategies. So strategies explained. They have the default, which is just whatever one you make your default. I could make the used one my default if I wanted to and just use default on everything. It would make my clicks a little less, but I don't want to do that because I want to manually pick which strategy I want for all my items, because I have some items that are not used and I have some items that I may want to reprice, say, more aggressively, or other items that I may not want to reprice as aggressively because I know that they're only going up in value with time. I may want to maximize my profit on that. And so you can see that some of these strategies are going to do that. So let's just go through these real quick just to give you an idea of how these work. We've got the super aggressive dominator. It's an algorithmic strategy and it's going to focus on sales but not profit. We have an aggressive sales generator, pretty much the same thing. Then we have our balanced sales accumulator. And so I actually use this one a lot. And so this one, it's going to help increase your sales, but it's also going to help maintain your profit and then price above the buy box wherever it can. Now, this one really focuses more on sales than profit, but it doesn't put an extreme amount of haste on the sales. It really wants to win more profit when it can. And so the balanced sales accumulator is by far my favorite strategy for repricing my FBA, RA, OA, wholesale, any of that stuff. That's what I like to use. And then you have the cautious sales enhancer. Now, this would be something, that it's almost more profit driven than sales driven. It's very similar to the balance sales accumulator, but you're not going to make quite as many sales, but you might make more profit on every item you sell. And so it's more like a slow dime versus a fast nickel. And so you really have to decide which model you're going to go with. And personally, I like a fast nickel on all of my books, DVDs, CDs, anything that I'm really getting from a thrift store. Dynamic profit builder. Now this one's going to focus more on profit. And so this is a really good strategy too. That's kind of similar to the balanced sales accumulator, but it's more passive when favoring the buy box. So not going to get as many sales. Then you have a hybrid profit harvester. This one's really focused on getting you more profit. So slow dime selling here. And passive profit maximizer, again, slow dime selling. Then we have some of our basic strategies like matching the buy box, penny under the buy box, penny over the buy box, matching the low price, penny under low price, penny under low FBA price. And the list goes on. These are all just basic strategies. And then we have the used goods books algorithmic strategy. And so this one's really for all of your used goods. You really cannot go wrong with it if you're selling anything that is used. And then you have your MF strategy. So as the same as the FBA strategies, these ones are more geared to win the buy box as an MF seller. And so sometimes when it comes to selling MF, this typical rule of thumb that I like to tell people is to be willing to reprice your items 10% lower than the buy box in order to win the buy box. Because as an MF seller, you can definitely win the buy box over an FBA seller if your price is right, but it's not very likely if you are matching the buy box. However, it can happen. So it really just depends. MF's a weird game. I don't know everything that I need to know about MF to really tell you what's the best way to do MF, but I do merchant fulfill items all the time, and I do use these merchant fulfilled strategies for my merchant fulfilled items, and it does work. So you can, if you're an MF seller, you can go with any of these strategies as well, whether you're looking for a fast nickel or a slow dime. And so that basically covers that, guys. That is all of your different strategies. Now, you may not want to use any of these strategies. If you don't want to use these strategies, that's okay, because they offer custom strategies. And so if we click on this, it will pull up a custom strategy wizard. And so you have here, if you create your own strategy, you can name your strategy. If not, you just click this new custom strategy and you will start building on your own strategy. So you can, compete with, let's say, just FBA sellers or just MF sellers, and you can customize your own strategy to fit your own needs. Personally, I like the strategies that it comes with. They're pretty easy, but if you want to play around with a custom strategy that's going to reprice things that more in line with how you want to reprice your items, this right here is your solution. And so we're not going to go through and customize our own strategy, but if you, get this software, feel free to go through here and try it out. I've heard of people having great success with their own strategies, and same with the built-in algorithmic strategies that's already there for you to use. So let's just click this X. We are going to exit that, we are sure. All right. And then here they do offer training videos. So if you do need some training, they do have those. Frequently asked questions, blah, 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 blah. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is a very, very simple repricing tool. Once you hook it up to your account, you got to give it like 24 to 48 hours for all of your data to populate. But once that happens, you can start setting your minimums and maximums and then picking your repricing strategy. And it's that simple. Now, after a while, you may want to go back into it. And like I said, you may want to filter this. Now let's say we're not putting in new ones, because when I filter this, these are my new ones, things that I haven't repriced yet. They're in stock and they need a minimum and maximum. But maybe I want something that doesn't need a minimum and maximum. Maybe we just want to look at in stock. Maybe we want to look at FBA, and maybe we want to look at minimum. And so we could apply that. And now we can look at some of these that are at our minimum price. And so let's just like take a look at this. We have a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 30. Now, I may have not been the one repricing this. So let's take a look. The Time Wealthy Investor. You can see Keepa pulling up, and we can see the buy box is at 25.11, 25.11, 21.34. And the used buy box is at $19.99. And so if the buy box is at $19.99 and my minimum is at 20, there's no way I can win that buy box. And with it only having 3 sales in the last 90 days, I would say it would probably be worth it for me to lower my price. But I do want to look at the year and see how it sells, because it seems like it sells in droves. Once a quarter, it has a couple good sales, but it's not selling, that often. So I would probably want to come down on my price just a little bit, but not much. I mean, guys, we're talking like we're at the bottom here. So what I'm going to do is, for this one, my minimum was 20. I'm going to lower that to $18.99. And so that's one small little adjustment that I've had to make. And I just save the changes. Now, I didn't go into automations too much, but you can see here that I've got an automation set up. And so it will go from regular repricing to aggressive repricing. And this is set up to price more aggressively as time goes on. And so if it's been pricing closer to the max for the first 30 days, which it usually does, I think after 60 days or 90 days maybe, I have it set to go to aggressive repricing. And so if you want to mess with your automations, you can click automations here, and you can see here, this must have been when I set it up, September 2022, and it's now March 2023. So about 6 months I've had this software. We can click here. I'm going to just edit. Okay, so I actually just set this up through the wizard or through the flow. And so you can just go through there and then set up an automation. So if you want something to go from maybe passively profit to aggressive repricing, you could do that. Or maybe you want to change it to a balanced repricer after 90 days, and right now you just want to win the buy box. And when you get low on stock, you're going to change that. And so you're able to change your strategies a lot. Also, if you are finding any value from this video, go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe. That way you don't miss anything on my channel. And anyways, guys, this has been Profit Protector Pro in a nutshell. It's a really simple yet really intuitive software, and it's under $50 a month for someone with 5,000 items in their inventory or less, which is, I want to say, most of you guys that are watching this video. So for under $50 a month, you can see more profit. And if you want to ask me, is it worth it? Let's just look at this analysis one more time, guys. Right here, $459 above the buy box in the last 30 days. So I just made 9 times my investment price for the month. Incredible, guys. All right, that's it for this video. Until next time, remember, the hustle never stops.